So we're back for the Hooniverse podcast. Ross, thank you for joining. We're back from the Vault interlude from last week.
We time traveled.
Yeah, but they fit together. They
do.
You and Jonny had a lot to say about the Charger, and it'll be an interesting contrast to see now that you've had time with the Charger, which we'll talk about in a little bit, whether your expectations were met or not.
Or not. Yeah. There's also been a lot that has happened in the automotive world and manufacturing and tariff government side of things since that conversation about, I'm trying to think of the nice way to put this, about fuel efficiency and electrification that may or may not have impacted companies' financial desires to continue building the cars that a year ago or last whenever that me and Jonny spoke that they were already working on. So things have changed.
There was already chatter about that, and then we lit the supply chains on fire, and we also lit a bunch of actual physical things on fire. I was just saying,
actual countries on fire?
Yes. No joking matter, actually. And it's a real weird kind of thing. We should probably just start there because it's a real weird situation where automakers pull back from EVs at the very same time that now that energy is spiking, EVs are going to be just the thing. And they don't have any, or they have fewer.
Well, so the whole EV craze really picked up after the Model S came out. Then every automaker was chasing the Model S. They got to the point in their development cycles, which I think probably just coincided nicely with government regulations at the time that were helpful in the development of EVs, not just as replacements for vehicles in lineups, but as supplemental vehicles and as full lineups, and we saw a lot of hybrids, a lot of electric cars in the 2018 to 2022 range, and then things changed.
But the reason why we saw all those cars though was everybody saw Tesla. I think they saw them as a threat not because they were profitable, because Tesla wasn't profitable for quite a long time, but the difference was that they really proved you could do a mainstream viable, this is your only car, EV. And when they started buying Teslas and taking them apart to figure out how they did it, they were blown away by some of the innovation and just some of the way they put that car together, even at the price. And we're 15 years really plus the sort of initial start of everything, where everybody started going hybrid first and then plug-in hybrid and then full EV. And the regulations, the EPA with emissions and then fuel economy both together were also pushing things toward the only viable solution being further electrification. And now that's lit on fire. Nobody knows what our regulatory environment is going to be.
And the crazy thing here is that it used to feel like, at least when I was growing up, what I was taught, for something to go through the government, it would take forever, right? And it would be years and years and years for some kind of regulation change to take place. And that seems to have flip-flopped a little bit, and
a lot,
and and concurrently,
irresponsibly so.
Yeah, very. I mean, while that regulation side of things has changed, and I admit I know nothing about the government. Most of the stuff I know about the government is from the West Wing.
That's okay. Most of our government doesn't know about the government right now either.
Most of our government doesn't really have any government experience either. Right. But automakers and manufacturing and building cars is a very difficult, a very involved, and a very complicated process. So if the person in office says, and I'm making this up on the spot, this isn't real at all, saying in 10 years, every car has to be electric. Every car sold here has to be electric or electrified, which is why we saw a lot of the conversations about and disputes about Volvo saying all our cars will be electric, because they were saying
They said electrified.
They were saying they will just be electric.
Right.
But if the government says in 10 years every vehicle needs to be electric, that means the manufacturing companies need to start working on that like the second that's said, because there's the depths of the supply chain are immense. There's tens, if not hundreds of thousands of components and pieces and hands that get touched over the life cycle between when a car is first seen on an assembly line and shows up at the dealer for you to pick up. And we saw that changeover in the time frame as the automakers tried to bring, quote unquote, to fruition all of their electric cars, while the government was also saying, no, you don't need electric, fine, whatever, you don't, no, gas good, diesel good, well, smoke.
The thing is, though, and there's talk like, oh, there was an EV mandate. No, there wasn't. There was fuel economy standards that continued to get further more efficient, which they should. And you saw like EVs, the way they all went into the market followed the Tesla model to a large degree, where they start premium and then you filter it down. It's like the automotive
which Rivian is. I mean, we're seeing it right now. The R2, the Rivian R2 is the most expensive, is coming out first.
And batteries were expensive. The cost of batteries has come down a lot. We didn't have battery production here. Like it takes a really long time to stand up the industry, to stand up the supply chain, and to just get that stuff moving. The only thing I remember being as fast as this last change, where they were like, yeah, no, all those EPA rules and stuff like that we talked about, forget it. Now the automakers are like, we're still going to do it because we're global companies. We don't have really bespoke platforms for the US. Your market's not big enough. I mean, it is and it isn't, right? Like we have, I think, the second biggest auto market, but it's a lot smaller than China. China, I think, sells 5 or 6 million more cars per year.
Right. Predominantly electric at this point.
Yes. And on a population that's 3 times our size. So there is that. But also, like, Europe isn't a big enough market either. Like, you can't just do, like, the English auto industry anymore. Like, you have to do, like, they have to share a lot of stuff. It's so expensive to do. And
we're a long time past since when America and, like, the new Western world and the creation of highways and the American dream and all that stuff was really like capturing everybody's imagination. And that's what drove car culture and car development until the 70s, when Japanese cars really took off. And now we're seeing probably the next phase of really a changeover.
I mean, things can't grow forever. And needs change, right? And so there's always that inertia and just all kinds of other stuff around it, like the cost of money has gone up now. We'll see how long that lasts. When money gets cheaper, expensive cars happen. But the only thing I think that was as fast as that rollback, which is just going to cause chaos, is the implementation of TPMS. And that's why with like early TPMS, there were so many different systems. It wasn't all that reliable. People hated it to a degree because it would sometimes give you the false warning light, but that had to be implemented. Like there was a hard date for that, and some automaker platforms were in the middle of a cycle, and they didn't have the tech to do TPMS like we do now. So they came up with other ways to do it because it had to happen by, I think it was 2007 or something. It was like hard date. This goes into every car. Well, and so some cars used the wheel speed sensors to compare across the axles. The diameters would be different if they were underinflated. And like, it was great.
Different rotation over a constant velocity. And
it's interesting to see what you could do with older hardware, but that was, everybody freaked out because Explorers started blowing tires and rolling over, and they were like, no, now we need tire pressure monitors, which it's not a bad idea, but
it's a good idea. We also 10 years after that, literally, we saw the mandate for backup cameras hit. I think 2017 was the reverse camera forced mandate, and cars like the ND Miata had already been like 2 years into their cycle, and they had to figure out like, how do we You know, thankfully, like there was already infotainment at that point, but there's a lot of rejiggering that the companies have to do.
Now
it's a long lead. It's a long lead manufacturing.
We won't get into it, but I'm just saying fuel prices are now spiking. Depending on how long it goes, fuel prices are going to spike. Also, the thing that you don't really see yet, but you will. So gas prices spike. That tends to drive a high percent, like I think 20%. Yep. Depending on how they go up, it causes, like when gas goes to $4 a gallon, it drives a certain not insignificant percentage of people towards buying more fuel efficient vehicles. Well, we just had a whole switchover where we pulled back on EVs. The ones who have hybrids are okay if they can keep up with demand. Demand might not be all that hot because nobody can afford anything right now.
That's so there's that. The cost of living hasn't really gone up, and the cost of everything has.
Yeah,
but no, I said that wrong.
Yes,
you know,
I know what you mean. The cost of living has gone up, wages haven't. Everything else is also,
I
got you.
That's where.
Yeah, but the thing that we haven't seen yet, really, but we will very soon, is all of those raw materials, all of the shipping costs, because if you start to pay attention to what's happening with even just shipping on the continent. So like something comes into a port in California to get it to the East Coast, it's going to be a lot more expensive. Diesel is like $5 or $6 a gallon.
Yeah, it's coming by train.
Yeah,
it's either coming by train or truck.
Yep. And then the trains are diesel, so they don't run on coal anymore. So that's going to it's more efficient, but it's going to get more expensive. Shipping across the ocean on a ship, they run on bunker, but that's still essentially that's like asphalt, so it's still a petroleum byproduct.
Horrible for the environment.
Oh, it's terrible.
The worst.
And then the raw material, like aluminum, the Middle East makes a lot of aluminum. Lots and lots and lots of aluminum. Yeah. Guess what EVs use a lot of? I mean, guess what most cars use a lot of?
Surprise. Yeah. Like, F-150's 10 years into its aluminum body quote-unquote run, you know?
Yeah, they also had a plant burned down, which...
Oh, that was...
It cost them $1 billion or $2 billion right off the top.
Jesus Christ.
They came out and said it. They missed their guidance. They were like, our supplier costs have gone up because of that aluminum plant. And the volume, that's their flagship product. So,
no, efficiency in the modern era is expensive. And that is the cost of, I guess, complication is the best way to say it, because we have so many technological and safety and creature comfort requirements that people consider necessary right now.
Yeah.
You know, like let's take a 1991, I don't know, Camry, and put all of the airbags and all of the tech and all of the crash structure that's in a 2026 Camry into that car. The gas mileage would be a third of what it was on the original car.
I don't necessarily mind sort of readjusting the regulations. I think footprint was dumb. That's kind of why we have such huge cars now. Because
car footprint, or
no, the footprint cafe requirements.
This is also like the stupid 6,500 pound GVWR thing where you pay taxes different
for the tax break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that was typically like a farm or commercial vehicle. And then we just started making enormous personal vehicles. So I think they tweaked it. I think it's now higher, but still. Yeah, they're like just a lot of weirdness for economic things driving our market to be the way it is. So automakers at this point, they just pulled back on EVs. I feel the worst for Honda, because they didn't really have a great hybrid. They didn't move fast enough on EVs.
Did. Well, I mean, the CR-V hybrid and the Civic hybrid are both fantastic. They're not interesting or appealing.
I really liked the last Insight. Cars. Actually. The Civic-based Insight was with the last gen.
The slight wheel covers on the very top.
No, just
was that the prior one?
I think that was the prior.
No, was that the FCX?
The first one, the first Insight was like a teardrop shape. It came out in 1999.
It was
weird
in.
little car.
It was what's his name drove in The Day After Tomorrow.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, his dad, who was also probably
wasn't it Liam Neeson? I think it was Liam Neeson.
No, it's worse. I think it was Dennis Quaid.
Oh, that is worse.
Okay.
But yeah, so the first generation Insight was a little weird. The second gen was just a terrible car. I find it was efficient, but it was awful. They finally got it right on the third try.
That thing was heinous. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Felt like a cheap
They
piece of
also
junk.
did the CRZ at the same time, which was
I
not
thought the
received
CRZ was
well.
kind of fun.
It was
fun,
actually
though.
kind of cool. It was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Yeah,
Handled
it was
well.
like a yeah. I like the CRZ.
I think the problem was that people expected it to be like the CRX because of just sort of how it was sort of positioned, and it really wasn't, but it was still fun.
The shape and the name.
Yeah. I enjoyed that car. But the final gen Insight, which they just killed here, and I think there's a new gen Insight, but it's not for the US. It's for Japan only. So I don't really know anything about that one. But the last gen Insight was basically like a Civic with a nice interior. And it looked a little different, but it was the same basic body shell.
I know
That was great.
about, yeah.
But they also didn't have an EV. They had to go to GM for their EV.
Yes, and they built this Prologue thing, but they also spent an assload of money on hydrogen at the same time.
Yeah, them and Toyota. So the thing with hydrogen is petroleum. That's how we get hydrogen. It's a natural gas byproduct. We don't crack water. If you tried to crack water for hydrogen, you would need a giant nuke plant or some even bigger coal plant or a natural gas plant.
Boom.
Like
You'd go boom.
Electrolysis is it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
it
it's
burns
just-
clean. Fine. If you want to burn stuff.
But it's just a matter of like public acceptance and critical mass and availability and like
yeah.
too big to fail. That's the oil
There's-
industry right now.
There's also no infrastructure for it. Like you've got two suppliers, I think, for hydrogen, which are like Airgas and Linda or Lind or whatever.
Lindy, Linde, Lind. Yeah.
Those are basically the two suppliers that have it locked up, and the amount of hydrogen you would need as a motor fuel just doesn't exist if everybody transitioned to it, and you would really harm the healthcare industry that uses a lot of hydrogen, a lot of liquid hydrogen. What do you think cools an MRI? So, good luck, fellas.
Good luck. So all of that is to say, when we started reading about the electric came in and boxed like 4 years ago, and then about a year ago we started reading like they might kill it, they might not kill it. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to that
No.
must not be a decision they're taking lightly, but
Everybody's taking write-downs. It's wild. Like Ford took a huge write-down. Honda just also took a big write-down. It's going to hurt their businesses to the point where I don't know whether they're going to recover.
people in finance much smarter than myself that are probably part of the reason those write-downs exist, and they're, there's drama in them, and the money that they're investing is probably making them the money back. So who knows?
I think some of it is like the not perpetuating the sunk cost fallacy, right? Where you're like, well, we've invested this much, we want to get a return on it. It's like, that money's gone. It's not coming back. Stop throwing good money after bad. Which, like, it's just so big. It's such a big scale.
Do you think there will be an electric Cayman and Boxster?
They were always going to make... Was it going to be exclusive? I was always a little flaky.
It was a
on
gray
that.
area. First, it was going to be the 911 would be gas, the Cayman and Boxster would be electric, and then rumors were swirling that it would be both, that both platforms would live concurrently. And then now we're hearing that, electric might be dead, or the electric, two-seat Porsches might be dead. Who knows?
That's a weird one because there's a market for that. There's no Tesla
You
Roadster.
think so?
There's supposed to be a Tesla Roadster right now. It's in space.
Yeah.
But if any, and I say it's weird because Porsche, if any company could pull it off, Porsche could pull it off.
That's true.
Because their customer base will buy it.
Or you buy this and you get on the list for the next
right
Hyper GT or whatever.
Right. Also, the performance is not bad, and Porsche, you can trust that it's not going to be like taking your Model S to the track and having it overheat after half a lap. Like, no, the Porsche is going to be engineered so you can just continue to pound on it.
Don't fuck around.
Right. So it's going to be verified performance. I don't know. I think in the short term, probably not. They'll either just delay the car and continue building the old one and see what happens. But they're a global manufacturer. Porsches are popular everywhere as a status car.
Have to sell them in China too, not just here, but they could, like dual line it. It's a weird world out there.
And again, like, how long does this nonsense with a oil crisis last? I say this all the time, right? The electric car is fuel agnostic. Just give it a sine wave. It doesn't care what makes it.
Yeah.
Because
if the plant that makes the energy that you charge the car at your house with runs out of gas, they'll find another way. That's like, they'll find another way, you know?
You could, anything that burns at that point can you, so, but it's like one of those, you could power your car with a treadmill, or solar, which again, like, for whatever reason, while we want to be energy independent, we have now made all of those alternative forms of energy more expensive and penalize the companies trying to develop those, which is just the strangest thing to me. Like, yes, we want to be energy independent, but only if it's oil. If it's not oil, we don't want it, which is strange.
We built a huge pipeline in Alaska, so.
Yeah, they did just finish Vineyard Wind, which is nice, off the coast of Cape Cod.
Off the coast, yeah. That was in contention when I was in, like, middle school or high school, because people were pissed off that they would see, like, a tiny little
spoil the view.
speck.
Yeah,
it would spoil the view. And if you were sitting on the beach, you would see, like, not even the tip of a toothpick on the horizon, and people were like, "No, I can't have that."
If I have to see wealthy people if I go to the Vineyard, which not a place I hang out, but if I have to go there and see wealthy people in those stupid pinkish red shorts being the type of people that they are, if I have to be around that, they can look at a windmill. That's fine. That's
Vineyard Vine's the headquarters, and the company was founded in my town.
It's not even on the Vineyard?
Not even close, man.
That's
not
terrible.
No. All right, we've rambled about this for a long time.
But anyway, like, this does dovetail. Wow, we've avoided the political discussion
mostly.
pretty well, I think. There's the reality of the situation. But mostly it's automakers are in a tough spot. So we'll see. What should we pivot to? I forget. I don't have my notes in front of me.
Charger.
Okay.
Charger.
That brings us to exactly how fucked they are.
Yes. All right. So I have a 2026 Dodge Charger RT Scat Pack for press loan this week. And so in 2014, I bought a Challenger.
Right. That's not a Charger. That's
a Challenger. Two-door car.
Yeah.
14. This is, Jesus Christ.
That's before the new interior, right? That was the last year before the new interior?
I bought it 6 weeks before they announced the new interior, which I was very happy about because I didn't know there was going to be a new interior. But it was a 5.7 car with 6-speed and, like, the quote-unquote track pack, which was just, like, better pads, a limited slip, and I think it was, like, 5 millimeters lower or something inconsequential. But at the time, I thought that was very much like the ethos of the big two-door Dodge coupe, like Grand Tourer and just comfortable and fast enough to be fun. but the big emphasis was sound and comfort, and that simplicity factor.
It was a great car. It's a fantastic Thunderbird was what I called the Challenger. It was
fantastic Thunderbird.
Especially the GT.
So I had mine for 2 years. I drove it like through the winters and everything. I put 50,000 miles on it in 2 years. And then I got rid of it because I wanted to simplify things. But that perspective of a car, which at the time was like 4,100 pounds. And just for context, the last Challenger I drove before this press car showed up, Charger in this case, but this one on the screen was a 2023 RT Swinger. So it was a
Swinger. I didn't realize they brought Swinger.
It was one
back.
of those last call cars.
Oh, it's got a shaker hood and a wide body. Yeah.
Had the 6.4 and the wide body and the 6-speed
Sublime
stick
green.
with I thought it was an awesome looking car. And at the time, like, Hellcats are great. Hellcats are fun. They're silly. They make you laugh, but
They make you giggle.
they're not the full, they're not like the core Challenger experience. And I thought by the time the last car died, like this was it. The swing, like a wide body with the not supercharged, but still enormous V8 and a stick and cloth seats. Like that was really where it was at.
Yeah.
So this new car. So first things first, and I'm going to preface all of this by saying I hear you, Robbie. You think I'm extremely negative when it comes to new cars. But I think my justification is there. So this 2026 Charger. So first of all, bear in mind that they are making a 2-door and a 4-door on the same platform. Not just the same platform.
The same wheelbase.
Same wheelbase and the same overall length. So,
which is like the old days. That's what they used to do.
Yeah, it's like the old days. Sure. It's not the old days anymore.
But I mean, that's their customer.
That is their customer. You're not wrong. You're not, which contradicts some of what we'll get to. So because the wheelbase is so long and because they are doing a 2-door and a 4-door platform, the door on this thing is absolutely enormous. And in a normal parking spot, in a normal parking lot, almost can't get in and out by yourself. And like they tout that the back seats are usable and all that stuff, but I genuinely had a hard time, like even just getting in and out of it alone. Like
in a parking spot, you mean?
In a normal parking spot. Yeah. And I don't know, I think I'm relatively nimble. From the side profile, I just think it's a little weird. Like I think from the front 3/4 and the back 3/4, it's a great looking car. They nailed it. The one I have is the gas version. The electric version has that swooping hood with the crazy vent that sends air up over. The side profile is just a little strange in the 2-door, just proportionally. Like the C-pillar's a little too big and the front's a little too melty, and it's, I don't know, the prior car was perfect dimensionally. Like it was quintessential muscle car, and this, maybe it'll just take some time to get used to.
I mean, yeah, that always happens. But I see a lot of like 68, 69, 70 Charger in this.
I see that too. Yeah.
Whereas the Challenger was obviously the Challenger, right? Like it was pretty. It was so well done that it when they first debuted that car as a prototype or a concept, people were like, "Oh, what they do with the old car?" Like they just when you park them next to each other, the new one and the old one they're nothing alike, but
completely
they just
different.
Nailed the look and the stance and everything. So, and we've had that car for like 20 years now, so it's hard.
2008 to 2025.
So they got their life out of it. I see what you're saying, where it does like the hood kind of on the new car. It's like you would want it to be more gradual, where it does kind of droop, and I wonder if some of that is just what they had to do for like passenger, for
pedestrian crash test standards.
And then the C-pillar, I didn't realize it's a hatchback. So how's visibility?
It is a hatchback. Visibility backwards is fine. Visibility forwards is not fine because it is, dude, with the hatch open, it is comical. Like, to take this picture that I'm about to show you, I had to hold the phone above my head just to put it at the same level as the like middle part of the hatch. And interesting too, the hatch goes up with power, but it only closes manually.
Well, it weighs like 1,600 pounds, so don't get in the way. It's like,
probably
it's a guillotine.
It'll be the Cybertruck hood effect where your finger just disappears.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it more useful. So I think, like, as a car, it's got some nice touches and some thoughtful design and some thought went into making it. It took a long time to get here, though, and the powertrain thing, they sort of whiffed by having an EV first from a brand that's not really, like, they just didn't have EV customers.
That had never done an EV prior and was basically launching their, short of the Viper, their flagship as an EV.
I don't know what happened, but Stellantis and EV and hybrid stuff, like they don't have it.
See, I wonder if when they started developing this car, they said, if we make it electric, we can make it faster than anything else. And then by the time it actually got to implementation, they realized that making it electric makes it like 2,000 pounds heavier than, or 1,600 pounds heavier than the last car.
Yeah.
Which was probably concurrent with the, we can do a gas engine, psych of the whole government thing. And then they had already, at that time, decided to phase out the Hemi, which they have since phased back in with the Ram trucks, which makes you wonder if
and the
day will come.
We can talk about that in a minute, because I have a feeling there'll be something at some point. But the 5.7, it's not that powerful. Like it's there for the noise. And you and Johnny talked about this too.
No. By modern standards, not a lot of power.
No, but it's got the drama, which is what I think people want. And fine, but emissions wise, the only reason it's coming back is because the standards are a little looser, right? Emissions allows them to bring it back, but it's just the money that they would have to spend to update that engine to meet the emission standards that were impending, or the efficiency standards, because they're kind of both the same thing, emissions and efficiency to a degree. Was just like, it wasn't going to happen. There weren't enough applications for a Hemi V8, and the 6-cylinder, the Hurricane, right? It's the Hurricane, twin turbo i6. Just more flexible architecture, and that's a modular architecture. So the V8 is nothing but a V8 unless you make a 90-degree V6, which has its own set of issues. And they've got the Pentastar, so they really don't need a V8 based V6. It's not the 80s.
Right.
So there was no point really for the Hemi, except for the big trucks. And by the time you get to the big trucks, you could also eventually see a heavier duty version of the Hurricane with turbocharging and electric assist together to get into that big truck market.
The Ram E-Rev that they're going to make, I forget what they're calling it, but there were supposed to be an all-electric Ram. Now they're doing range extended Ram.
Right.
But yeah, this i6, so I've driven it in, this is the third vehicle that I've driven with the Hurricane in it. The first was the Grand Wagoneer that I took on a road trip last summer, which was perfect application for it. I had it in a Ram 1500, and it was fine.
In the 1500, in the Ram 1500, that twin turbo i6 has like 80 more horsepower.
It makes so much sense in that.
Ton more torque. Yeah.
Than the 5.7. Yeah. No, it makes so much sense. better gas mileage, better throttle response, better torque for towing. Like it's almost like it's almost a gas version of a diesel.
Right. And everybody's like, oh, well, when you tow with the turbo engines, they get bad mileage. When you tow with anything, it gets bad mileage.
Yeah, yes. You don't get to choose. The towing mileage is shit, regardless of what you're doing, unless you got a heavy duty diesel and you're towing a light load.
Right. It is what it is.
The problem that I have with this, at least, is that it feels like we gave away all of the glory and the oral pleasure of, and that's AURL, of the V8s in the sake of this proposed new theoretical efficiency. And I'm not getting any better gas mileage out of this car than out of the last one that I drove, and I'm driving them similarly. Mm-hmm. And this car sounds horrible. Like, I'm not saying that lightly, because I think a nicely tuned straight six, even a turbocharged one like a B58 or something, is a great sounding motor. This one just... They did what Dodge does best, and they favored volume over tonality. So it sounds... I'm going to get all a bunch of shit.
It's loud and raspy, right? Loud and raspy.
Broken. No, it's not even raspy. It's just loud. It's just blah, 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 blah. It's like they did it for the sake of trying to prove something, not for the sake of loud for a purpose. And it drones, and it's just permanently present. And the only time that the noise goes away is when start stop comes on. And between that and the gearbox, like, dragging the 1-2 shift, like, really, really, like...
Is it just, like, syrupy between the two? Like, just slides into gear?
Do, like, a 3 count between the 1-2 shift.
Huh.
You know, and between that and then the car's all-wheel drive, you know, it's full-time all-wheel drive. Yeah. And however they tuned the diffs, like, there's a small change in height to get into my driveway, and if you do that or a really tight turn, you can feel the diffs like chattering front, rear, side to side, because it doesn't really understand where it should be sending power. Between all of that, it's just not a pleasant drivetrain or powertrain to interact with.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't necessarily carry a ton of weight with it, because it's not like the 5.7 and the 6.4 were, you know, marvels of modern manufacturing or anything. But with such like a generational gap between when the last car debuted with those powertrains, and yes, it was a 6.1 and then it became a 6.4 for the SRTs, but this is just it feels like a lateral.
I can sense your disappointment across the internet.
It feels like a like wrong place, wrong time, or just like a lateral misstep in what, if they hadn't been partially forced to create an electrified car from the get-go, and also if they, you know, had spent the money to develop just a cleaner, more efficient V8, like all of this could have been avoided, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is out of our control. A lot of that is stuff that we can't deal with, that we'll never have a say in.
I think there's blame here, and the blame really goes to mismanagement, and it goes to Carlos Tavares, because I think there was money, especially post-pandemic or during the pandemic. RAM was the money engine. I certainly,
cheap.
Yeah, all right, and I certainly believe that even the old, I mean, they had old hardware, right? So even the 300 and Challenger and stuff, like, that's just long amortized, long paid off. the cars still sold. Like, like they still had something to sell.
Yep.
But they really leaned hard. They took all the money from the North American operation when Stellantis bought FCA, and they used it on European product, which in and of itself isn't necessarily the worst thing if they're going to share the platforms, and they did. The problem is they didn't get what we buy, right? Like, so they came out with the Hornet, for example, and we talked about this just before the podcast. So the Hornet was super expensive, has this weird powertrain in it from the Tonale that defaults to rear drive until it detects slip or whatever, and then it gives you all-wheel drive. So the things that, like, they wag around.
It's got a power boost thing.
Yeah, it's tight. It's expensive. It's not the right size. It's not the right price.
Again, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, they killed the Cherokee, the KL Cherokee. But they
had that. I think it was called the Avenger in Europe, which was like a slightly smaller than Cherokee electrified car.
Yeah, which is like, that's all electric. I don't know what platform that's on. That was supposed to come here. It's not coming here. They just replaced the Cherokee, so that's the new thing that's out now. Which you'll get it. You'll tell me what you think of it.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
But it's hybrid, right? It's 1.5 liter, so it's a 1. And I think it's the new 4-cylinder. It might be 1.6.
Yeah, it's like the same architecture as
it's the Hurricane,
scaled up Hurricane,
right?
As the new 2-liter Hurricane that's in the Grand Cherokee,
right? And that the Grand Cherokee, since they redid that to be the WL, that started with the Hemi and the long wheelbase versions, and then it's either Pentastar or the 4xe, which has the GME. The GME is a terrible engine. Let me tell you, like, it's fine-ish, but it's just,
you say that as an owner, so
yeah, it's
you have more experience. But it's also
loud and crappy sounding, and apparently the thing is, if you run premium in it, it smooths out a bit because you can get more timing out of it. But it's like, I'm not running premium in it. Like, that should be designed. That's not
why anybody bought a 4xe.
So I went and I went from a Pentastar. Just so very similar, right? Like, I went from the WK2 with the Pentastar. It's really refined in what it does. Not the most refined vehicle on the road, but everything works together really nicely. They sweat the details on that. So very similar to your Challenger. And then I step into the new one, and it feels like I think the thing for the automakers is when it's not just the parts, like we were talking about with Vaughn in the last episode, or second, whenever he was on, where it's not just putting the parts together, it's making them work together. And like, that's even when you have like a project car, it's making sure everything kind of functions properly, the handoffs are right, the shift points are correct, just everything. That's integration, and it feels like Chrysler lost a lot of integration talent because the Grand Cherokee doesn't feel well integrated. It's like clunky and clumsy. This doesn't seem well integrated, and I think that, like, what you're talking about is, it would be better if it felt better. Like, it's that feeling. Like,
less
this feels
is more.
Like a prototype.
Less is more.
Yeah.
It does. And it's also, I mean, we're seeing the culmination of Stellantis only having like fucking 5 platforms across his whole lineup,
Right. Well, that's the other thing, right? Like, it's
trying to emulate VW, and they're not doing a good job on the platform
VW's
scaling.
not doing a good job being VW.
Well, no, but 5 years ago, like with MQB, it was perfect demonstration of what you can do with, effectively one formula.
Well, they had two. They had MQB and MEB. And so, like, that's the thing. Like, both of those platforms have one fixed dimension, so it's very good. It's very clever. But they didn't do a gas and electric together on the same platform. They split them. And that's, I think, a huge compromise here is it's EV and it's gas. Mm-hmm. And as I will tell you, I drove a gas-powered WL Grand Cherokee. Feels great. It's the Pentastar, the 8-speed ZF. Like, it's solid, very stiff structure. We figured out it's the Giorgio platform, and so it's like, it drives really well. When you put the batteries in the middle of it and the electric motors and stuff, it doesn't drive as well. It's not as good. It's compromised, and so, like, you can't. you're better off making a separate electric platform that takes that, and I just don't think they could afford it.
Trying to be everything to everyone, and just to like jump off what you were just saying, the one sole thing that I noticed an enormous improvement in this car versus the last one is chassis rigidity.
Yep.
Shocker. It's
Hope so.
20-year newer chassis,
Right.
you know? But it's, you know, that's it's like, what have we given up for what have we gained? You know, I made a list. I made a list of things that
All right, let's go.
Robbie will love me here complain about. And also, for what it's worth, the thing gets a shit ton of attention. Like,
it's beautiful. It's a great looking car.
Part of it is the color. The color is called Ludicrous.
It's not B5 blue?
No, it's called Ludicrous now, which I told my wife that, and she literally, like, I could feel her reeling.
That's so on brand, but man.
It's a little cringy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the interior, I also wanted to share this because the interior is like, it's big, it's spacious. The amount of real estate between the rearview mirror and the dash is like I can put my hand into like this and it'll touch both at the same time.
That's not great.
It's not good. And also the interior. So this is a name drop because they have like a ridge between the door panel with the switches and the actual door card itself.
So there's like a gap there? Yeah.
It's a physical gap that I can fit my hand between. And it runs all the way around the dashboard, like all the way.
That's for visual drama. It's dramatic.
It's for visual drama.
You get the lighting that bounces off of there, which is, I shut that off.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They call the lighting here, and you can see it runs all the way around, and it's such a big gap on the dashboard that you can fit the actual key between the airbag and the dash, and like the actual like core part of the dash. And since you mentioned the lighting, I have a picture of it, of what they call the lighting, which is even cringier than the name of the paint. But wait, I want you to read this on air. What do they call the interior ambient lighting?
Attitude adjustment lighting. That's great.
That's a choice.
They've boxed themselves in with the brand so badly.
They really have boxed themselves in.
Like I thought for a long time it would be a fun brand to work on. It still probably would, but they're a little bit in lost in the forest right now.
Yeah. So backing up. So I sent name drop Larry Casilla a picture of the gap between the control panels and like the door cards, and basically said like, you're gonna have a miserable fucking time with this thing. And his response was, damn, with like a bunch of M's.
So like, and he's what is he? He's Ammo NYC?
Yeah, he's master detailer who's coming on the show soon. So
awesome.
Stay tuned.
There we go.
And just to wrap up my rant about the charger, Uconnect in this application is like click. Okay, now the screen is there.
Is this Uconnect 5?
It's Uconnect 5. I don't know if it has the most recent software, but it should. You know, the last one, like in the last Challenger, was fast and it was functional.
You had a 14, so you had Uconnect 4.
No, mine was the Uconnect in my car was horrible. I'm talking about the last Challenger I drove in 2023. Okay. Like, it was great.
That might also not have had Uconnect 5 though. Just the architecture of that platform.
It had the bigger screen. It wasn't it might have been just like 4, but like the later version of 4. But it worked great. And okay, my rant about the charger will be done after we discuss this.
Okay.
This car base price $55,000. The one here is $68,300. Mm-hmm. The things you can buy with $68,000, right? Brand new, off the lot. Mustang with a performance pack. You could probably even get a Dark Horse. You get an M2. You get a CT4V Blackwing. You know, you get 2 Miatas. Like, there's $68,000 for something as compromised as this. In my mind, is you're playing to your core fan base. You know they're going to spend the money on it. That's it.
Do you think that I would never consider this Charger as a Mustang cross shop. I guess because it's a two-door, I can see that.
Because of the engine?
It's just not the same kind of car.
Not even close.
And not, I mean, for the money, I just wouldn't consider it at all. I just think that's abusively expensive. Like,
also that, but I think since like 2015, when the revised Challenger came out, like they were GTs, they were Grand Touring cars that when you put your foot down, you had a good time. And other than that, they were cruisers. The Mustang is a sports car. It's effectively a sports car.
It has evolved into a sports car, yeah. And you're right. The Challenger was always the thing where it was like, it's not going to embarrass itself, but it's definitely not going to keep up with the Camaro or the Mustang, which both evolved into sports cars.
Close. Yeah. So I think this car's two closest competitors are probably like a M440 or a CT4 Blackwing.
I would buy the Caddy.
I'd buy the Caddy.
Come on, man.
I don't know if there are any cars on sale today that I would buy over the Caddy for that money. Blanket statement.
That's just, $68K for
This
is the replacement for a car that was like, it started off in the mid 20s, right? Like the when it came out, I realized it was 20 years ago, but when it came out, the Charger 4-door base model it had to have been like 27, 28.
Yeah.
Right.
And now the base 4-door Charger is like 52 or something.
That's unconscionable. You're not going to be able to sell those. The brand has problems already, right? Like especially with like everything stacked up. They're just, and they've been so slow to bring it to market, and I don't know. I like the car. It sounds like we're so negative. I realize that. And like, we are from New England. We do hate everything. So just deal with that.
This is true. But everybody take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Also, we hate salt. Just kidding.
I kind of like
New England, we love salt.
But I hate it on the roads. Like it on my pretzels. But yeah, the
chips, French fries,
chips,
and lobster rolls, wings.
But the problem with Dodge and every Stellantis brand right now is they put themselves in a hole and they haven't been able to dig out. And I hope they make it. They are. I am a Mopar guy. So
same. I bought one. I grew up in a Jeep house. I still love Jeep, but like, I think the problem now is the cycle of. It used to be you dug yourself in the hole, and you knew that by the time you got out of the hole, things would have been like stabilized in the economy, sort of, and the government, sort of.
Yeah.
Now the companies are looking to dig themselves out of holes with no semblance whatsoever of what might be the case by the time they can turn around their entire 5-10 year business plans and 5-10 year manufacturing leads.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of fuckery.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, the shape of the company is a little rough. I think maybe if they bring a compact pickup or a mid-sized pickup, they might Dakota themselves out of it. Hey, we've seen Maverick, despite infinite recalls. Maverick has done well for Ford. Tacoma still doing well for Toyota. Yep. I mean, there's room in the market for that, but not that much room, so they got to move. And I do honestly hope they get their act together. So we've talked about two things for an hour. Can we be a little cheerier? What can we pivot to? Any more positive vibes we can give our listeners?
Oh man, positive vibes. New York Auto Show is
it's going to happen.
No, it's in 2 weeks. So anybody go and give me a shout. I'll be there. Camille and I will be doing our usual shit talking shenanigans. Hopefully he won't pull any roof racks off of Land Cruisers this year. That was, I have a picture of that happening. It was so funny. He went up to like they had the Heritage Edition Land Cruiser there with the Yakima rack on top, and he went to like ask the press lady something, and he like put his hand on it, and the fucking thing just like started to fall off.
Oh, it wasn't even like secured? That's great.
It wasn't bolted down. It was just like, oh my god.
It leaves a big gouge down the side. That's awesome.
Yeah. Anybody go and give me a shout.
What do you think we're going
man.
to see there? I think we're going to see the VW Atlas. That's very exciting.
Yay. Yeah, the new Atlas. That'll be very exciting. BMW has no presence. I was informed by their press officer or whoever it was, but yeah, they will not have a presence at the auto show.
Okay. Who else usually does something good? Yeah, Jeep
always puts on a fucking show.
Well, there's going to be Camp Jeep, right? Out in front of the
Jeep.
Javits, there's going to be the ramps and stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. The New York Auto Show has had just bets over the last 5 years over all the indoor EV test tracks.
Oh, they'll have that again, yeah.
They'll have that again. I don't know. Chevy's, it's been the first public appearance of Z06 and Z01 a couple times, I think. But we have those.
Yeah, I was going to say, they don't really have anything.
Maybe Grand Sport, maybe Ford's cooking up something.
Ford might do something. I was wondering actually if they're gonna. I don't know that it may be too soon for them to do anything with their universal EV, with their EV truck. It might be a little too soon, but they'll probably do something that's related to it.
Detroit next year will be when they.
That's what I was thinking.
Do that.
But they'll probably drip out some sort of additional story or something, and usually Ford does. I'm trying to think. They would do a Mustang thing there. So they did a Shelby one year. They had Carroll Shelby there one of the years I was there, and I think in 2008. And
so that must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, no, he's dead now.
He's been gone a minute. Yeah.
That was the year I remember sitting in the redesigned Focus, and I was absolutely appalled by that car. I was like, wait, first it's ugly on the outside, and then it's made out of milk jugs inside. What is this? And John Neff, who was editor-in-chief of Autoblog at the time, he was a big Ford guy, so we went and checked it out as we walked the floor, and he was like, oh, I kind of like it. I was like, dude, what? It's fine. It's a Focus. Funny. It drives like a Focus still. It was fine, but it was just I do not understand why it looks this way. And then on the inside, it's awful. But they usually also do a Lincoln thing. That they usually announce something Lincoln at that show, and Nissan usually does something.
Nissan usually does something. Lincoln usually does something. Lincoln's booth is usually beautiful, really, truly beautiful. I'm excited to see the Lexus, the GR. Oh God, the V8 long nose AMG lookalike Toyota GR thing. What is that thing called? I don't know. The GR GT. I thought it was a Lexus.
The Gurgit. The Gurgit. That's great.
I think that's probably a good time to end.
And Hyundai might do something as well. Although they might be a little mad still that Kia is outselling them this year. Although maybe not.
That's okay.
Because the EV or the EV, no, not the EV9, the
Ioniq 9.
No, the Telluride. I think the Telluride is outselling the Palisade, but they probably don't care about that as much, even though Hyundai is supposed to Kia is never supposed to outsell Hyundai in the hierarchy. The Palisade is built in Korea, so I think it's built in Ulsan, maybe one of their plants over there. Anyway, so it's imported versus the Telluride, which is built here. So they make
Alabama or something. Is that the plant that got busted for child labor 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was a contractor, and they handled it, but that's still that's brand reputation, right? They are going to be forever linked with it.
Not good, Bob. Yeah, no, that's not good.
Yeah. New York, I go have fun. I will look forward to talking about it in 3 weeks when you're back. And hopefully there'll be plenty of things for us to talk about, and maybe in a more positive light.
Seriously.
I feel like we did spend an hour being just
We spent an hour
jerks.
shitting on everything. Yeah. Hey, man, sometimes you got to air your grievances, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I can leave it on a positive note. I saw my local Jeep dealer in town has one of the new Cherokees, and I think it looks fantastic.
Good. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing the recon. There we go. Doors off electric. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take a video. I'm gonna walk up to the the Toyota rep, I'm going to say, can you tell me up the Gurgit?
Yes. Maybe they can. They should come on the show. We should invite as many people onto the show as possible. So that we can talk to them.
Like the yogurt that was like in a tube.
Oh, that's right, the yogurt in the tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like the most disgusting thing. Like
sugar. How would you like your sugar delivered to you?
Sugar and dairy. Yep. Dynamic duo.
Just okay. Sugar.
If you want to have this for your school lunch, so that you sit in class at 1:45 with your stomach hurting, not learning a goddamn thing. Yeah.
Hyper and shitting yourself.
Right. And also then you'll fall asleep because you'll go into like insulin shock.
Seriously. So
speaking of shout on something else, it wasn't even auto.
Yeah, and no, insulin shock. Just a segue. After the auto show, we have some awesome guests coming on. So
yeah, and we have a couple of good ones over the next couple of weeks. I hope people have enjoyed what we've done. The consistency has been key, so hopefully
all you, Dan, man.
So cool. All right, thanks for joining.
Awesome.
Take an hour out of your day. We'll be happier next time, I promise.
We will.